at it in context of the L7 grid, which is the gift that keeps on giving. Well, let's do it in G, because it's a nice friendly guitar key. So we've got this major 7 chord. Look. L7 grid in the key of G. Find my tonic, my key note. That's the one there. That's the tonic. 1, 4, 5. Major triads. You with me? So if I want to take a major chord, there, that's all I'm playing. I'm not playing a bar chord. I could play a bar chord. There's the full bar chord. But if I play the 5R3, you can spot the intervals easier. The thing as well to look at this is the root is there, the third is there. You can play thirds because you can see them there, because this is what it does, is it helps you to visualize those thirds on string pairs, because what I was doing, I was just using the D and G string as my string pairs. This is the key of G. Chord 1, chord 4, chord 5. So there's my 5R3 for chord 1. Here's my 5R3, which is an A shape. Play it like that. Play it like that. Yeah, for chord 4. For chord 5. We've only got 2 shapes. We've got that one that we've already looked at, the A shape. And you can hear that those are the major sound. Yeah. Now let's have a look at how I can change that shape. Just imagine we're at chord 1 here. And if we were in the harmonic minor, then this chord, E minor, 7 flat 5, this would be an augmented chord. So what I can do is, I can take that there, and I sharpen the 5th. The Beatles did use this, actually. It's a John Lennon song. Our life together is so special. We have grown. That is the augmented sound there. And you can see it's a major third visually on that string pair. And it's a major third there. Now the cool thing I like about the augmented chord is that it moves in steps. Yeah. And it's nice and easy to remember. I kind of marry that with the whole tone scale. It sounds very cartoony, if you will. Tom and Jerry. And that's nice to add to chords like this. Look, there's a G7, but if I put that sharp 5 on there, can you hear how it puts that twist, the tension there? And I've got that. And that's the way I think of it, how we can use that sort of sound there. Now, that shouldn't have been a 7th chord, really. Let's just play it like that. So, there's the major, there's the minor. 5R3, 5R flat 3, sharp 5R3. Now let's turn it into a diminished. We've got the flat 3 here. There we go. What does that shape look like? Finger-wise, yeah? It's a D minor shape. It's there instead. Now if I put my pinky on there, I get the full diminished 7th chord, which, like I say, is chord 7 of the harmonic minor. Now this, like the augmented chord, what I did with the augmented chord was I've just moved that up in steps. So the augmented moves in steps, whereas the diminished moves in minor thirds. Let's go back to this one here. Now if I move this here, all these here, now this is a very quantum. The idea with quantum is that a particle can exist in 2 different places at the same time. And this is what's going on with diminished chords, yes, with these diminished triads, is that this is the root note. It's also a flat 3rd, it's also a flat 5, and it's also a diminished 7th as well at the same time. These are all interchangeable, the same 4 note values. And we're just going to move up in minor thirds. And it's just an inversion of the same chord. Yeah? To me, it sounds like, you know, those Buster Keaton movies. I'll take liberties and I will use the full diminished as a passing chord, for instance, in the grid. chord 1, chord 2, chord 3. So the diminished comes in that way, but when I'm doing that, I'm introducing this idea that we're open to harmonic minor. Okay, let me just not get too far with this, because I still want you to understand the shapes. So there. Can you hear the quality of that? It's a peril chord. It's real tense, isn't it? Which is more tense? Diminished or augmented? I think augmented is a little bit more questioning, because it really, if I played the minor major 7, then you've got a diminished interval in there. You get these detective chords. So it always sounds a little bit mysterious to me. If I put this 9 on here as well. Yeah, and move that around. We can create that kind of sound there. The blonde walked in the room, she rolled her eyes at me. So I rolled them back at her. It's kind of like those old detective movie sort of sounding chords. A little bit James Bondy as well. There's the James Bond chord, just lives there. So really, when I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking that's an augmented sound. And it gets used in a lot of 50s doo-wop. I've heard it in that kind of thing as well. So let's go back to this shape here again on this 5R3 using an E shape. 5R3 major, 5R3 minor, sharp 5 R3 for augmented, flat 5 root, flat 3 for diminished there. And that means we've just got this little shape that we can add into stuff. So let's look at it on the A shape here. Just going to take this bit here. 5R3. Let's turn it minor. There you go. There's the minor. Now this is a cool little trick. A band called McFly use this, but it's a very common thing that you find on chord 4. So yes, you get this minor plagal cadence here. Yeah, it's lovely. But what we do is we change there from major to minor. Okay, and then we get this chord 5. Now we can't really do that with chord 5, but that just shows you how you can get to that quickly, and you think to yourself, okay, major to minor. But let's have a look. We've got the minor there. If I flatten the 5, then we get this. Look at that shape. Looks like a D shape. The thing that we know about this is that we can go up and down in minor thirds with it. So if I go up a minor third, and like I showed you before, look at the minor third. That's what you have to do, is you have to go up on the string, use the finger closest to you, there, and go up a minor third. So I'm targeting with my eyes, and then I move up. Target with my eyes and move up. Target with my eyes and move up. Target. And you'll find that what happens is you get 4 different positions for that. That's where your diminished arpeggios are going to live. I think it's the South Park theme as well. So that's the diminished. We didn't tackle the augmented, which is there. I think in doo-wop songs, they played this as the first chord for Blueberry Hill, the first chord. But you'd usually get this kind of augmented sound right at the beginning of a song, and then it would go into sort of standard harmony. And now you might say to yourself, well, how am I going to use that, Ricky? I like the augmented in my pentatonic. Alright, okay. Just putting it in there, and there's a hidden diminished in the minor pentatonic as well. So we've got lots of different ways of implementing this in our ideas. And if you take them as the little fragments, then you can add them to the chord. But I had this here, 1, 4, minor 4, major 5, yes? Let's go to 6. Right, like I think to myself, 5th root, 3rd, and let me just turn that into a diminished triad. Now I'm repeating some notes here because that's a root and that's a root there, so it's not half diminished and it's not full diminished. That's if I wanted to take chord 6. Not so common on the chord 3. Yeah, but I could think to myself, okay, I could put the diminished on there. That would work. It would give me more of a sort of a Phrygian quality, I'd say. So you can apply it inside the grid as well. You marry this with your other shapes as well, with the caged chords. Not just use this with the 5R3 shapes, which are the E, the A and the D. I'll just quickly show you what I mean by that. 5R3, 5th root 3rd. It's what's underneath your fingers. 5th root 3rd there. A shape, 5th root 3rd. D shape, 5th root 3rd. Okay? So I can make them all minor. Yeah? So you can take the C chord, and then I can go minor. It's a horrible way to try and play a C minor like this. It's a horrible way. If you just want that part there, just the triad. What if I wanted to make it into a diminished? I can't do that because I'd have to go like this. Yeah. 2 minors there, like that. That would be C sharp diminished. But then I could go there. There's augmented. So I'm just alternating these notes and rotating them around. Take the D chord. Let's look at the key of D major. I move it up to get to chord 2. This is going up. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor. Look, there's the diminished. I'm barring across the 12th there, and I'm holding down at the 14th with my 3rd finger. Yeah? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. And you've got the whole 7 chords, and you're back to chord 1 there. Nice little tie-in there.